Oh, actually, 1 second. 1 second. I think. Now that goes into test. Excellent. Oh, 1 more second. That's not it, is it? Oh, damn it. Okay, 1 second. I'm trying to get the stream ready for Twitch because of somebody. It's about last 10 minutes. Exercise. Okay. Optimize encoder, Twitch tags. Forget that. Go live. Oh, Twitch game. Access. No. There's this app. Oh, it needs a game? Oh, Twitch. Oh, Twitch. Really? Give me 1 quick second. Oh, let's say go. There we go. Okay, bam. Video transmission, and we're good. Okay, I think we're good. Is this... No, we're good. I think. Well, I'll check it later. Anyway, good evening, boys and girls. How are we all doing today? Excellent. So today we are doing because these documents got released today, this is what we're gonna do today. That's that's basically the gist of it. Yeah, and so this was actually sponsored. For the life of me, I don't know why this was sponsored. But so essentially what we're actually going to do, and by actually I mean factually 100%, is we're going to go through the slides of Epic versus Apple. These are the slides that they have uploaded to what am I saying? Not uploaded to. These are the slides that were given to the court that summarize both Epic and Apple's arguments, and then the court will, deliberate, and then the judge will give a ruling, and then what will happen from there is one of these two, whoever loses, is going to appeal, and appeal, and appeal, and appeal until whoever knows, man. That's essentially it. Yeah. So we're going to start today with. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, we're gonna start today with we're gonna talk about Epic, and then we're gonna start with Epic, and then we're gonna start with Apple, and then we're gonna go to Apple. And the reason for that is I accidentally glanced at the Apple ones for a while, so it behooves me to do this in a more fair manner by now doing looking at Epic's first. So let's get started. So in essence, no, that's not, no, obviously I'm not a lawyer. You guys know that. Yeah, no, I am merely law adjacent in the tech industry. And for those in the Discord that don't know, one of my startups was actually law adjacent, and so yeah, actually no, you do know. Yeah. It's exactly, it's that one. And so I mean, I don't exactly have a good understanding of what's no, I know the fundamental. I tried to say fundamental and underlying. Fundamental arguments in these two cases. I obviously wouldn't be able to argue it in front of the Supreme Court, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense, at least to me, that this argument is taking place. Anyway, before we start, I do want to point out how look at Epic's opening presentation. It's nice and professional. You know, it's got the Epic Game logo, beautiful. And then Apple's first slide is just black. I I love that so much. It's just can you see my mouse? Yeah, you can see my mouse. Apple's first line is just black, and there is no good reason for this. And then the second slide is just Steve Jobs doing, you know, his Jobsy things. Yeah, you do know my opinion on Steve Jobs, so we're just gonna really. No, no. I haven't met the guy. Obviously, no. He died before I. When did he die? Let me check. Let me find out. Steve Jobs death. 2011. Oh wow, that's a long time ago. Yeah, he died before I graduated. So like undergrad. So no. I couldn't have. No. Anyway, let's just get to it. Okay, let's get to it. So the crux of Epic's argument, as far as we can tell, at least from the second slide, is that Apple's entire ecosystem is one big antitrust case, right? And so that's why the second slide says we have a whole plan in place, obviously, because it makes it very, how do we say, very obvious to start with where, like obviously they're trying to paint each other in the worst possible cases. Also note, you know, I love it. This presentation is beautiful, and then just look at the Apple one. Oh my God, ugh. So the starting argument: Apple's building a walled garden, and the entire point is that Apple is being uncompetitive inside its walled garden, and that makes, you know, some amount of sense, because it's trying essentially to show that Apple is trying to gain as much possible value from its platform as possible by being uncompetitive, right? The whole point of competition law is to, well, I don't know why I'm explaining it to you fellas in particular. But yeah, the whole point of competition law is to make sure that everyone has an equal playing ground. And you can see this argument from Epic's side, right? Like Apple has built this ecosystem, but Apple charges, according to Epic, Apple charges 30% on all revenue, and Epic doesn't think it's fair because there is no other way to get onto the iOS ecosystem without paying that 30%, essentially the 30% tax, right? And so it's trying to say we might want to limit this in license, right? Like something that looks like contact stuff. I think it would be something that looks like contacts to have contacts, not that on that iPhone. Oh yeah. Is our online stores. I think to build these 3 stores so as far into the iOS experience as possible, right? So the idea is as see, this is 2008. So as the ecosystem developed, essentially what Epic is trying to paint is that, you know, hook into the ecosystem who leave Apple products once they've bought music, apps, blah blah, all that good stuff. And then the idea is as make what Epic is trying to say is the further that Apple integrates its ecosystem, the harder it is for people to leave, and therefore the more of a monopoly effect Apple can achieve. And so that's why they highlight ecosystem, and up top they highlighted the other stuff. To iMessage, compelling for masses of Android users. So again, here is the idea that iMessage on Android would simply serve to remove obstacles for people to get into Android, right? And so the idea again is that keeping people on the Apple ecosystem is the best way to monetize that ecosystem, and Epic is trying to show that the harder you force them to use the Apple ecosystem, the better it is for Apple. And you know, actually, funnily enough, this is the least difficult part for me myself, at least. Like I used to be an Apple owner, and then I switched to Android phones for a few years, and then I got tired of. We're going down this path. Yes, we are going down this path, and we are going to continue down this path. I got tired of Google's hypocrisy, right? And I feel like there's no better way for me to explain it, right? It's Google hides its own monopolistic effort under the values of open source. And I feel like that's probably even worse than what Apple's doing, because Apple at least admits that it wants to build this ecosystem. Whereas with Google, you have stuff like the Open Handset Alliance. I just realized the other day that USI, or what is it, Universal Stylus Initiative, is a Google initiative to open, quote unquote, open source styluses, so that everyone can use it. But it's built primarily for Chrome, right? For obvious reasons, for Chromebooks and Chrome tablets and all of that. And you guys know my exact stance on Chrome. Chromebook update. I am going to return that Chromebook. For good reason, and we'll come back to that in the future. Yeah, so make it difficult to leave, lock customers into the ecosystem, make a platform more sticky. You know, for what it's worth, all companies say this. You know for a fact that Mark is saying this about Facebook, WhatsApp, and Insta. And like you know that Reed is talking about this for Netflix. Like this is just how ecosystems work, right? And so the point is, basically everyone, they wanted to show that since 2008, since really the inception of the App Store, that stickiness of the ecosystem has been a thing. This is the same OS kernel and the same project, same that we'll use. What is this? There are lots of core. Okay. Signing does not imply specific and is left as signed applications are poly. Okay. So the point is, no, it's not Go. I'm sorry. And mostly that's because I do play Go a lot, actually, on the YouTube channel. But Twitch doesn't let me stream without specifying a game, so I just decided to go with Go. Actually, if you think about it, lawsuits are kind of like Go. Patent law is actually quite a bit like Go, because you have to surround your enemy with a whole bunch of different patents to take their patents and invalidate them. Anyway, I am talking to surprisingly a Twitch viewer. Welcome to the channel. Yeah. So. Oh, actually, that's a good point. I didn't realize that I could do that on Twitch. I'll change that up now. Thank you very much for that point. Can I do that? Let's see. Chatting. Just chatting. Got it. All right. Done. Thank you very, very much for that advice. Actually, that's very, very helpful, and you've really helped. Thank you very much. All right. So let's continue then. Right, so the point is that Epic is trying to make is that you don't need to go through the App Store to get anything onto iPhone. That you can sign their own software, sort of like you do on Android devices, and then be allowed to sideload them onto the iPhone so that you can use it properly. And so Epic is claiming that because of that, because there's no technological limit to sideloading applications, that Apple should allow people to install applications outside of the App Store. And unfortunately, that is not always that is not the case. Or rather, unfortunately, Apple disagrees with that case, as we shall see later on. So safety of the Mac, in their own words, stable, secure platform, system integrity, download apps safely, worry-free. We don't think it's blah. Okay. So it's fair to say that using a Mac is not insecure. Yes, I believe so. Say that it's less secure platform, then no, I haven't. And so the point here again is that they're trying to show that the Mac OS, so the desktop platform, is not less secure than the iPhone. And by that extension, because you're allowed to install other applications on Mac OS, on MacBooks, MacBook Pros, iMacs, and all of that, you should be allowed to install side install applications on iOS. You could implement that are currently all layers. Correct? Yes. Yes. Okay. So again, Epic is just saying this same thing again. Value to Apple of free apps. We love our free apps. Make money off the App Store. We don't make a lot of money off iTunes. So they're trying to take Steve's words and turn it against him. But we don't expect to be a big profit generator. So by saying that Steve said Apple doesn't plan to be a big or doesn't want the App Store to be a big profit generator, they're saying that Apple has technically gone back on its words, routinely negotiate terms, presents the same developer program license to all developers. Yes. Which is our purpose, add value to the iPhone. Free apps do that just as well as paid apps. Okay. Birth of in-app purchases, 2008. Aftermarket in additional game levels. Installed many for a fee. Some developers will want this. Right, so in-app purchases, they're saying if this is, it sounds like, it looks like possible leak in the system. Oh, so this part where they're charging for in-app purchases, and essentially Apple is saying here that they want in-app purchases to, or rather that they didn't expect apps to add in-app purchases, and so they want to plug this leak. And obviously, by leak they mean they want to take a cut of that. Apps may not use their own mechanisms to unlock content, right? So you're not, essentially Apple is saying that you're not allowed to unlock content through a third-party method or third platform method. You have to do it on the app itself or in the app itself. No one would use IAP if it were optional, right? Because why would you pay 30% to Apple if you could not pay 30% to Apple, right? So Epic's argument makes perfect sense in this case, right? Obviously, developers will want to keep their own money. So studies security issues, no known security issues with Epic's payment system. So Epic is saying its own it's trying to preempt an Apple argument that its own security, in-app purchasing security, is better than others. Cost plays no role in choosing 30%. Do you ever really discussion about costs associated with running, the costs associated? So they're saying, that nobody has ever discussed whether it should be 30% or not, and that's technically true. The problem is that the industry just assumed it would be 30%, and this isn't the digital industry. It's just like how Steam charges 30% for a lot of things, and Epic on Windows PC can choose not to, and indeed Epic doesn't charge 30% to developers for their games, right? It says a much larger It's been out for over 5 years. Users downloaded 30% as many apps as everybody in the world downloaded songs from iTunes. We didn't expect it to be. Neither has the computer industry. 30% is song downloads. It is pretty much off the charts. And so, what Epic, I guess, is saying here is that they are. Do we think this split will last forever? Or will last? Ah, okay, nice. Steve has asked for % on App Store financial model, the profits and costs. That's slightly positive, given, which is fine. Yeah, so it's saying that even back in 2011, Apple was considering changing that, and here operating margin, they're trying to show that given the cost of what given the cost of what Apple took in terms of developing the App Store and maintaining the App Store, how much of the income that they're taking is in margins, which is, you know, income. Not gross profits, obviously, but like income that offset development costs. Change So termination provisions, sole discretion. That is very, so just to point out, this is industry standard. If it determines or suspects if engaged in withhold payments due to you or such other developers, also pretty standard, more like the pretty lady. Okay, so more scams and copy. So essentially now we're getting to the point where saying that the App Store isn't as secure as it should be. Can we do a quick time check, please? Wait, has it really been 20 minutes already? And we're only halfway through Epic. Okay, let's hurry. Terrible jump. Bad. Remember our talk about becoming Nordstroms of stores? Oh my god, my boy Phil Schiller isn't, he's mad. Oh. Forecast. We include. That's so funny. Oh, emails withheld, of course. Screenshots. Imagine having your screenshots in PNGs. Oh my god. About this app being a scam. When was this? 2015. Okay. It is agreed. We should have. I can't believe we still don't. Nice. I wonder whatever happened of that. Oh, that's actually interesting, right? So if there are phishing apps that just charge horrendous amounts of in-app purchases for no reason, and then Apple is getting 30%. Nice, love it. Okay, so yeah, dangerous situations and life-threatening. Blood pressure monitor. Oof. Oh, that is hardcore. Imagine if your blood pressure is always 120/80. Oh my god. That is amazing. Resend from office of the CEO. Nice. Had offensive content. Oh. Oof. That's no longer didn't follow many misleading. Nice. So again, right, Epic is just saying these guys suck. Don't do it. We treat every developer the same, transparent rules, because we care so deeply about it. We do look at every app before it goes on, but those rules apply evenly to everyone. Wood is part of a set of whitelisted developers with access to subscription, cancel, and refund API. Oh, that's true. So for certain purchases, you can refund them on the iTunes store, but others I'm sure you can't. Time it takes to hear back. So I guess Apple's margins on the App Store are big because they don't put a lot of resources into it, eh? That is amazing. Love it. Where I don't even want to update my apps more than once a year. Review process, arbitrary enforcement rules, arbitrary not consistent, arbitrary inconsistent, to destroy business like mine. Due to the presence of just one of them, consider private by the SDK DB. We don't block the app for that reason alone. We don't have a good way to report them separately. Oh wow, I sent the radar black. Nice. Okay. Doesn't know or estimate consumers' life cycle spend. If I were to remove and just ask you, are you aware of any information average consumer spends over the life cycle of the phone, does that change your answer? Don't recall. Nice. Any work that's done with an app will determine the amount that the customer spends on apps over the life cycle. Annual, are there any? Forward-looking things. We don't read people's minds. Shares of switchers. What is this? A number of... See, we need their talk track over this. If we don't have their talk track over this, it's just not as cool. And so again, Epic Game Store mute. Oh, that's why they added Spotify. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Okay, so we will have to talk about this. In the near past, there has been a lot of questions about why Epic had started to add different applications to the Epic Store on Windows. And so it added stuff, yeah, like exactly like Itch, like Spotify, and I guess Brave in this case. And it didn't really make a lot of sense, and it didn't click until now, but now it makes sense. So essentially what Epic is trying to say is Epic could be a competitive app store if Apple allowed it to, right? And we will see in Apple's, how long do we have? We're at 30 minutes. I think we'll see it. It was at the beginning. We will see in Apple's case that Apple was claiming that Epic is a gaming company and only sold games, and therefore Epic Games is not a direct competitor. The Epic Games Store is not a direct competitor to the iOS App Store. And that's, you know, for the most of the life cycle of Epic Games, that's true. But by adding stuff like Spotify, Itch, you know, a digital storefront within a digital storefront, excuse me, by doing that, essentially it's giving how do you say, it's giving Epic the appearance of a full app store, and therefore it can do this, right? Not only does Epic have games, it can have software and distribution. And suddenly this is everything that the App Store itself on iOS does. And so suddenly Epic is claiming that with everything that came before, that Apple was, the Apple iOS ecosystem was broken, and that Epic can come in as a competitor on iPhone to have its own game store, not game store, its own app store competitor on iPhone. And if you remember at the very beginning, exactly here actually, that there is no reason that these security elements cannot be implemented on the iPhone. And I mean, that's true, right? And of course, Epic also showed that Apple was being inconsistent and being a bad app store. And so more to point out its monopoly power. I think that makes sense. So now we come into Fortnite. The reason why oh of course Fortnite would be its own ecosystem. Okay, yeah, so essentially it's just this entire argument again that both the Epic Store and Fortnite are not merely gaming, a, a, a gaming sector thing as Apple claims, but that Epic Store and Fortnite themselves are true competitors to the whole encompassing iOS, right? That makes sense. Aren't aware of customers due to prices, aren't aware of customers switching to Android due to prices. Were these videos? These were probably videos. Eddie. It's basically to put it, if I click how long does it take for a response to come back, things like gaming, because obviously blah blah, and you're aware of any studies. Latency issues with streamed apps particularly. Functional differences between streamed apps and native apps. I wonder where they're going with this. Because actually that is one of the arguments that Apple has made for things like Google Stadia and Microsoft xCloud and all of these. Apple made the argument that if you aren't on the App Store, you could very well install a streamed, not a streamed, you can install a progressive web app, which incidentally is another Chrome derived technology that treats essentially a web page, but it makes it look essentially like an application. And if I'm not mistaken, the xCloud on iOS is a progressive web app, and I think NVIDIA, GeForce Now, let me check. I think GeForce Now, which is also a game streaming thing from iOS Safari. Yeah. So GeForce Now, and let me just double check xCloud. Oh, is it not a progressive web app? Yeah, no, it is from the browser. Yeah, so that's one way to circumvent the iOS store rules, because now you're not installing anything on the phone, and therefore everything is streamed. And for things, it's really important if you're moving around in a game, if it's and so the point is that if you're streaming anything like a game, if the game itself is not installed on the phone, then Epic is claiming that latency will be an issue. Native apps provide better experience, and they're just taking Apple engineers and what? Okay, okay, okay. I got it. I got it. Oh, epic. Anyway, the point is, I think we've wrapped it up. Is that yes, Apple has provided an alternative in terms of streaming. Epic doesn't see it as a true competitor because it native apps provide better experience, and so Epic wants the ability to install native apps on iOS, right? And so the case is about Apple owning the entire lifetime of the device and making money from the entire lifetime of the device. So instead of Apple being a hardware company that sells a car and then gas and why is gas station coming twice? I don't understand. Doesn't matter. But gas and servicing and stuff can be done by other people. In this case, it can't, right? Because you have to essentially you pay Apple for everything, whereas Epic wants other people to get paid. I don't know. Oh yeah, we love free apps. Building limitations limit this license, so this is just okay, and we're done. And once again, they started with Steve and they closed with Steve, and we're gonna start with Steve and close with Steve here as well. Interesting. Okay, let's start and close with Steve. One quick second. I don't think we're gonna get to my exercises today, bro. I'm just gonna put that out there. just responding to a quick comment. Oh no, different comment. So let's talk about Apple. Again, look how beautiful this opening slide is, and then what is this, man? Whatever a law firm that Apple's using. Oof. Provide an advanced and open platform, protect iPhone users. So again, there we're gonna use Steve's words to support us because he's the visionary, right? And Tim Cook, Phil, Craig, excellent. Developers have tremendous access to the iOS App Store and Apple's IP, and so what they're saying is there's a lot of value that's being generated. Excuse me. Okay. Tremendous access to iOS App Store, Apple's IP, fast, agile, feature rich, and so Apple is saying that we spend a lot of money in developing these things, these particular things, and therefore people that use Apple's intellectual property are getting a lot of benefits. Oh, app downloads. Okay, I was like, total number of apps? No. Okay, app downloads up to 180 billion plus in 2017. And actually, I'm glad we started with Epic. You can start seeing the similarities here, right? Well, but that's exactly the point, right? And that's the point, is it's who can, if both parties have the same facts, the person who can interpret these facts to the best of their own ability is the winner. That's just how it goes. Like there's no way around that. That is how modern case law works. I don't know what else to tell you, bro. Like, yeah, you have to agree on the facts before you can argue them, right? And that is essentially what Apple and Epic are doing here. Is they're agreeing on the facts, and then they're taking those facts and they're presenting them in a way that makes the most sense to themselves, and that they hope, and they're trying to use that to convince the judge that that is what the facts reflect. So freemium in-app purchases, freemium made Fortnite's success on iOS possible because, you know, you could play Fortnite for free and then you can pay Epic to buy these things. And so one part of Apple's argument is that this was premeditated. And technically you'd be right, because Epic has been doing this on the computer, on the Windows platform, right? Because Epic has been, has been very much fighting Steam for market share by burning through money, right? Epic gives out a lot of free games, and also it can grab more market share from Steam. And we've already seen Steam respond actually by lowering fees for developers, and that's the point. Like Epic essentially wants to say, everyone lower your money, everyone lower the platform fees that you charge so developers can make more. And while that sounds like it's a very selfless thing, one of the things that generates the most revenue for Epic is obviously Fortnite, and Fortnite benefits by having lower platform fees. For special side deal from Apple, need to provide side letter or alter its contracts, create narrative that we are benevolent. Wow. And so obviously everything else Apple is saying is premeditated, and you can kind of see why, right? Because Epic did this, Apple took it off, and then Epic started its uploaded a YouTube video about that aped, 1984, the movie 1984. Epic deceived Apple but gave Microsoft a heads up. So again, this is about premediation, and this is about not that. This is about too many platforms. I'm not sure what this is trying to say. Doesn't matter. Coalition for App Fairness takes 30%. And no other transaction fee in any industry comes close. That's technically not true. That's here it is, right? But these are all what are they? These are all technically software stores. And obviously this is no longer true. Oops, 1 second. This is no longer true. Does it still exist? I don't think this exists. I don't even know what that is. Wow. This, oh my god. I don't even want to talk about it. And so the point is, once again, right? Like, remember back in the Epic talk, we talked about it doing the... Where was it? Here. Epic talking about its store not being just a game store, but also a store for everything else. And so Apple was now saying Epic is wrong on relevant market, cannot show anti-competitive, cannot show anti-competitive contacts and events. Apple can show pro-competitive justifications and a tie. Relevant market. iOS app distribution market is both too broad and too narrow, and that can be a thing in the legal world, right? So again, just for record, this is what Apple's talking about. Essentially, yeah. So first they start with too narrow, many substitutes for digital game transactions. Essentially what Apple is saying, out of everyone that buys stuff, from Epic. The iPhone, the App Store is very little of it, and so 95% regularly used or could have regularly used other than their iOS device to buy stuff. And so, if 95% of people have another way of buying, I don't know, man, currency on Fortnite. And this is what shocked me, actually. It's 46.8% people bought stuff from PlayStation. That's crazy. It's crazy. Also, yes, they did also get removed from the Google Play Store, but obviously you can sideload stuff on most Android devices. But that actually, if I'm honest, I actually don't like the fact that you can, because the average user is not intelligent enough to be able to protect themselves from sideloading issues. And so you're going to have just an effect of the average user being, how do you say, being put into danger because of it, right? And that I'll blame on Google, because they're hiding under their open source. I do blame Google for it. The party continues, and so Apple is saying Epic recognizes substitutability, right? And so again, that's the too narrow part, because the market is very broad. Consumers play the same game at the same time, and so iPhone is not a lot of that. Consumers buy game currency on other platforms, so again, like, just because you can't buy it on iOS doesn't mean you can't buy it on PlayStation, for example. With two-sided transaction platform, product is the transaction. Too broad. Epic's market includes all apps without proving they are subject to the same competitive conditions. And this is, again, comes to this. Over clustering. Epic's conclusions of law do not mention cluster market. I will admit I love this. Fortnite does not equal Waze, does not equal Starbucks. and I mean, technically they're right? Like, the Starbucks app is not under the same competitive conditions as Fortnite. Absolutely, I will agree with that. Internal documents show evidence of switching. What does this mean? Loyalty. Okay. So when phones aren't getting launched, people switch away? Is that what that means? Change to another smartphone each quarter? Yeah. So what Apple is trying to show is that, people still are moving away from iOS. Relevant market is gaming transactions, and so again, this is a defensive move, right? I hope you guys can tell that Epic is on the offensive. It's trying essentially to show that Apple is being mean, and Apple is saying, no, we're not being mean, because really what the only thing that Epic has the right to talk about is gaming transactions. And in the total amount of in the sector of gaming transactions, Apple only has this much of a share, and everyone else has more. And it's cunning to really only do the 23 in color, even though it's 23 to 37. That block prohibit challenges Apple's technical design and contracts. A refusal to deal. Technical and contractual restrictions has been foreclosed from. It would have been developed and used if Apple did not mandate. Okay. Forced interoperability and a compulsory license on Epic's preferred terms that are available, and it is virtually impossible. Okay. To prohibit Apple from deterring from downloading and installing. Right. So, yeah, essentially the law prohibits what Apple claims. The law prohibits Epic from asking the judge to force Apple to use another to allow another payment number. No anti-competitive effects. And so this is again the point of the App Store. It started with 500 apps. It's now at 2 million. Number of users increased, and so no anti-competitive. And because and this is the crux, I think, of that argument. If the developer revenue has increased, then the point is that if Apple were being anti-competitive, it probably wouldn't, I guess. App Store's effective commissions has decreased. Game app effective commission rate, all app, blah, game app initial download commission rate. 84% of apps are free. 90% of apps are trash. 95% of apps are trash. And this is true. Apple has reduced commissions, except for, you know, big publishers like Epic. Estimate of Apple's operating margin is because it looks at one segment. So Apple is saying you cannot look at just development cost purely of writing the code for the App Store versus all of the value that's being generated by the App Store, because you also need to factor in the cost of devices and services ecosystems. So I assume when Epic did its you know what, it doesn't matter. When Epic did its calculations, it didn't include things like developing for the API. It didn't include things like developing for the iPhone, but Apple thinks it does. Very well as a result of new markets have opened. And so, you know, Apple is saying it's not being anti-competitive, and it's using, you know, Epic's witness because that's what you're supposed to do. And so it's saying that Apple is pro-competitive, it refuses to sacrifice security, iOS devices, and Apple claims that it cannot sacrifice security because there are so many devices and so many apps, and therefore access to very sensitive data is very important. I'll be honest, I do buy that. And not that Apple did a very good job of it, given that iOS 15 point whatever came out, not 15 point whatever, it doesn't matter. I had to update my phone today, my iPhone today, because there was a 0-day leak that was being very dangerous. So yeah, I mean, it is pretty scary, but that's all software, right? Performance represented. That's the problem, right? Because I think the consensus in the industry is that Apple isn't doing this as well as it should. There is a rogue developer who lacks incentives to protect users. Huh. I wonder what that means. App review by numbers. Submissions rejected because they haven't been updated. Objectable content. 40% of submitted apps are rejected. Did you know that? App review provides an extra layer of security. Interesting. I like that it says at most at the beginning. So it is a grudging admission, but it's also Apple is just gonna go for it. So by tie, what Epic means is it's tying the platform to the in-app purchase condition linked to a sale, but Apple is saying that you don't have to. If the defendant actually requires the plaintiff to take the defendant's product B in order to get its A, so you have to add in-app purchases in order to list on the App Store. And that's, I mean, I found that to not be true because I know for a fact that you can't do that for stuff like Disney Plus. Yeah, you have, as far as I know at least, like when I tried registering for it, I had to do it on the website. And I couldn't do it in the app itself. I wanted to do it in the app itself, but I guess Disney didn't want to give 30% to Apple. Appears to be integrated with the App Store and to have never been a separate product. If so, the construct of the IP appears to reinforce the notion as digital marketplace. Models, however, they choose appears to have been created in part value of a developer being on a digital shelf. Never charged separately for in-app purchases, never marketed, never offered to sell in-app purchases separately. Developers are not required to. Optional, paid, subscription. Nope. I see. Requested relief will harm consumers and developers. Why? Integrated ecosystem exponentially exceeds. What if this had never happened? Developer revenue from App Store initial downloads. Not sure what you're trying to say, bro. Oh, I guess there's going to be some talk by our expert, unfortunately. Okay. If Epic prevails, other integrated ecosystems will fall too. All up. This very much is the truth, right? This is very much the truth. Yeah. And so if Apple wins, if Epic wins, Epic could theoretically sue Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony for it. Of course, but because I'm sure these guys, not these guys, let's say these guys have a different contracts with Epic, right? And do you consider the console manufacturers to be monopolists without reference to all or any legal opinion and conclusion, with a number of exceptions, generally do exercise a monopoly on distribution of purely digital games? And there are various. I love that. That is such a great answer. If Epic prevails, blah, enough purchases. Why is Samsung still? Oh, I guess Samsung has its own. My preference would be that all stores were open. So Tim is the big bad guy that's going to go in and sue everyone else if Epic wins now. Performs no quantitative analysis with Apple consumer data. Conducts. Oh, this is the bro from up here. It's fine. No problem. Theories based on false premise. I'm not sure what I'm oh, yeah, okay, so the web app. So why did they use the Financial Times? I looked at that and I immediately felt like I was at home. You guys read the FT, right? I know at least half of you do, but like when you see that pink of the FT, don't you immediately feel like, oh yeah, none. this is where we belong. I think so, because it's the thing about the Financial Times is, at least when I was working in London, it was because the Financial Times is based in London. It's based in the city. Like, it is very much just. It is so much part of the city that it's hard to describe, if that makes sense. Like, it's without the Financial Times, the city of when I say the city, and this is to address a comment I got. When I say the city, I mean the city of London, that particular part of the city of London where all the banks, the trading houses, lawyers, and all of that is. And yeah, the Financial Times, man. Anyway, we're good. It took us literally exactly an hour to go through both of these. In conclude, we will have to end it here. Yes, we will have to end it here. But I will say again, just that Epic won in terms of presentation. Personally, for me, you might call me an Apple fanboy if you didn't understand what fanboy means. I do feel like Apple has a slightly stronger argument. But then again, Apple is also the defender in this particular lawsuit. Okay, I'm not an Apple fanboy. Yes, I am a Financial Times fanboy. Thank you very much. But the point is, yeah, 30% might be a lot, or it is a lot, but it's also, it is fairly industry standard right now, and I am glad that that Epic is suing, if only to scare the other app stores from cutting that shit out. Essentially, the point is, you know, it's better for developers when the take isn't 30, and it used to be 30 for a variety of reasons. It used to be 30%. Actually, in fact, GameStop would charge 30%, right? And I think, hold on, let me yeah, let me check just real quick. GameStop, what is it called? Actually, you know what? We'll do it later. We'll just come back to this. It's essentially GameStop would, the big box retailers would charge 30%, and so when the digital distribution services started, like Steam, they would just do the same. And why wouldn't they, right? Because it's like, if you could get away with charging 30%, but you don't have to rent a whole, you don't have to rent a warehouse, like that's amazing. And yeah, that's sort of the point, like that it's not Apple being mean in this particular case. It's simply that's how the market worked, and the 30% got grandfathered into it, and that's, you know, that's fine, and that made Steam a whole lot of money for a long time. What really bothers me actually is when Epic first started on Windows, that there were people who didn't like the fact that Epic was offering both free games and to pay developers more. And I don't, it's an intriguing part of the human condition to me, that this is possible in this kind of, in our society, that people would rather be so very much stuck in their own, they're so afraid of change that they're not willing to embrace something that is, and I will use this word now, that is factually better, because that is what competition is about, right? By having competition, we have seen that Epic has forced Steam to lower its revenue, its take from developers, and you know, they're trying to do it with Apple. Apple will probably take some motion that'll make this go away sooner or later, and ideally it'll happen for everything else. And we just saw Epic buying ArtStation, which to me is great news, because Epic has the money. Epic has the money to fund this for now, and so they're trying to grow until the point that everything becomes self-sustaining at the new lower margins, and that's important, right? And I do seriously hope Epic succeeds for those particular ones. I'm not sure if Epic will succeed in this particular lawsuit though. Okay, we're good. Let's end it here for today. I mean, if our regulator in the Discord would like to tear apart all of my arguments post hoc, by all means, please do so. That's all I will say. In conclusion, then, thank you very much for watching. No, that's not what I'm going to do. Regardless, thank you very much for watching. And yeah, and oh yeah, I should change these before things end. I had the physical exercises and stuff. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I have a special treat for tomorrow, but we'll talk about it. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. And oh right, no, please download Firefox and please don't do Chrome. I am returning my Chrome tablet, so I can say this again. All right, bye now.